Hello Linux lovers, my name's Wimpy, welcome to my world. And again, something a little bit different and a bit of another inauspicious start. It all went wrong there as I was bringing it up, and I'm not completely satisfied it's fixed yet, so we'll see how this goes. But what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at, here it is, what's in this box here. So this is the GPD Pocket 3 that's been sent to me by the team in Hong Kong. They've asked me to make an Ubuntu MATE image for it. I've taken it out of the cargo box it came in. I haven't actually opened any of these boxes, so we'll be going through that together and we'll see if we can figure it out. I mean, how hard can it be? It's not my first rodeo with GPD devices. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 of them I think now. So you know, I've got some inkling on where to start and how to get cracking with this stuff. So we'll open it up. I think it will be pre-installed with Windows 10 or 11, I don't know which. I'll boot that up and make sure the device works, get it powered up. I've got a rather experimental capture setup. Maybe we'll be able to plug it into the capture devices, I don't know. And so we'll figure out the hardware, probably boot an Ubuntu MATE live image on it and sort of start poking around. What triggered that, I wonder? Now I'm confused. So it's weird the way that happens sometimes. I'm pretty sure that's queued from wherever. Now that's more like it. I understand why that one went off. Oh, thanks Yannick for the resub. Thank you very much. So, hey Linux Paul, welcome back. Hello Yannick, welcome back. So, well, there's a couple of things. Hello Phil. Appropriate, very appropriate. It's all going to be about getting Ubuntu MATE working on this device this evening. So it's good to sort of, you know, pull out the Chelsea cucumber early on. I'm glad all that stuff's still working. So this also sort of concludes my hiatus of streaming. I obviously put things on hold over the Christmas period and the New Year break, and I did some game streams. I think I've done one like live coding stream. This is a return to a regular schedule of live coding streams here. I'll be doing at least 2, most likely 3 of those a week now, and maybe a couple of bonus ones thrown in for good measure from time to time. And obviously this will be the start of this device enablement, and I think we'll do the discovery this evening, figure out like what I need to know in order to generate the appropriate configurations to, because usually these devices have rotated displays and things of that nature, and calibrating touch panels and things like that need to be done. So we'll go through that, figure out what we've got, how much works without any tinkering, and therefore what tinkering is required. And once I've learned what needs to be done, I think we'll make some manual config changes to sort of get the thing working, and then from that I can take that away and put that in my build script, and then we can come back another time and look at the build script. But there's a particularly interesting box here, and I think this will be the subject of a live stream all on its own, but we'll take a look at that. This is very interesting. I'm most interested, my daughter's most interested in this because it's an artist's digital pen, so she wants me to get that working, and I think I know what's necessary. So I think we'll just get into it. I don't think we'll stand on ceremony too long, because I'm not sure how long this is going to take me to sort of figure out what I need to do. I did download drivers and allegedly firmware. I don't know if any of this is going to need firmware updates at this point, so I'm tempted just to boot Windows, make sure it works, and then immediately start putting Ubuntu MATE on it. So I'm just going to put these two small boxes to the side for the moment. We'll come back to them. I suppose we'll start with the big box and we'll actually have a look. And I genuinely haven't opened this, so this is the first time I've opened this, so we'll take a look and see what we've got. So I think I can zoom in a little bit more for this. There we go. So that opens, like most of them, magnetic clasp on the front there. We'll actually start with the actual machine itself. We won't mess around with power supplies and stuff at this point. We'll get the actual machine out of the box. Oh my goodness, it's really tightly packed. There we go, that's free. So some booklet. I don't know if there's going to be anything interesting in there. In fact, so far everything in, oh no, there is English. Most of that was Chinese. I think I've seen an electronic copy of that already, so I don't think I need to pay too close attention. But this is the device, and if you're familiar with
Thank you for the follow, JSGI Gax.
Thanks very much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So if you're familiar with GPD devices, this is kind of the merging of their Pocket series with a device they released couple of years ago, I think now, the micro PC, which I'll get the micro PC down, but this is it. So it's a all aluminium unibody. It's quite Apple design language, like, you know, the recent change in Apple to go everything with rectangular edges and everything, so it feels chunky. So what have we got? We've got USB-C here on the back, but this is where this machine is interesting because it's a modular design. So this can come out, this module can come out, and you can replace it with others, and that's what I think is in the other box there. So we'll take a look at that in a moment. Then gigabit Ethernet, 2 more USB-As, Courage port, and excellent, I didn't realize it would have one of those. So full-size HDMI, that's excellent. So my janky capture system I can do away with, and USB-C, which I think is actually Thunderbolt enabled. Hello, thank you very much for the follow. So I think this is Thunderbolt enabled, which not tonight, but I'm definitely interested in hooking up my Razer Core X with some fancy GPU inside it. So we open the device up. We've got a keyboard. I'll talk about the keyboard when I actually come to using it. Some GPD keyboards are excellent, and some, well, the very first ones were a little bit iffy, but at first touch this feels quite nice. We have a trackpad here. These are mouse buttons. Okay, so we've got middle as well, so that'll be interesting, because in the past I have done some enablement on some of these devices to sort of emulate scroll wheels, so that might be possible on this, given that it's got a dedicated middle button. I quite like the keyboard on this one, actually. I just wish these small keyboards didn't have caps lock, or maybe, see what I would prefer.
Thank you for the follow, Damp Sparks.
Thanks for the follow, Damp Sparks. Welcome to the stream. What I would prefer on devices like these is, instead of having caps here, move tab down here, move escape to where tab is, and put caps lock up in the corner where nobody cares about it. I think caps is the most useless key on the keyboard. But anyway, and then the other trick that this display has, it has two in fact. I thought it could go all the way over, but no, I must have got that. Oh yes, of course, this is how it works. So it rotates. So the screen rotates, and that can then fold down, and it can be a tablet form factor, apparently. So, and that actually is very blush. That's quite nice. I have to say, the build quality on their devices has improved with each model. This feels really nice to hold. It feels solid. And there are two hardware editions of this. And I think this is the Intel 11th gen that I've got here, according to the label on the box, which I did look at yesterday. So yeah, this is, so I think this is going to have 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, and then it's the Intel 1195G7 CPU with the integrated graphics, of course. There's a fan there, exhaust ports on the back, so standard fare. So I'm really pleased to see a full-size HDMI on there, though. That's terrific. So that's the machine itself. What I'm going to do is get that plugged into a power source now, because I don't know if it's got any charge, and then we'll get that powered on. This isn't the power supply it came with, this is another one I just hooked up earlier. So is there any indication that that's doing anything? Is that power supply suitably beefy? Maybe not. Okay, I think then we will try, let's see what else is in here, because I imagine there's a power supply in here, so we'll get that out and get it charged up. Could try turning it on and see if it should have a little bit of charge. So I'm guessing this is the power supply in the power button. Yes, it is. That came on. Oh, the keyboard's backlit. So here it goes. So I imagine this is going to boot Windows. In fact, the fact the screen goes back is rather handy. Oh my goodness, is it going to be Chinese Windows? This could be tricky. Thankfully, I don't think Windows is going to be staying on here for very long, but you get the idea. That's booting up. We'll see how much battery that's got in it, and whilst that's coming up, we'll just have a look at what else is in here, see if there's anything else in here I need. So you map it to menu. So interesting. Okay, so let's just bring up one of my tools here. What have I done with this? Oh my goodness.
Thank you for the follow, Ergaster.
Yes. Where did this go? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Right then. So thank you very much for the follow. Thank you and welcome to everyone that's new to the stream. Also welcome back to my old friends Linux Paul, Takov, Yannick, Eric, Big Pod. Hello Big Pod, how you doing? So, oh right, I've got the options on the screen here to choose a language. So we'll choose English United States. That looks like the best option for me. So we'll just let this come up. I'm not going to keep Windows on it.
I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Yeah, you're immediately
a little
annoying.
sign in here, potential Wi-Fi there, and we'll have your PC ready for all you plan to do.
Be quiet. As you can see, touchscreen as well. Right. I don't want this on the screen. Go away. How do I make this go away? How do I make Windows do anything useful? This is not my strong suit. The fact that this stream is prefixed with the word Linux probably gives you an idea. I might just turn this off and get. Oh, here we go. Where am I? Oh, United Kingdom. That'll do. Yes, go. Is this the right keyboard? Yes, it is. It's an American keyboard. Right, we'll just let this do its thing. Do you want to add another one? No, skip that. It's quite handy to have a touchscreen, right? I think all of the GPDs have had touchscreens. So this says it's got power on it. So I imagine this is going to be an international type design. So not a 3-pin UK plug. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So we've got a USB-C charger, and then a cable in here as well, which is handy. Can never have enough of these. Oh, and a lanyard as well. Okay, so what power rating is this, and is the one I'm using suitable? Okay, this is 65 watts, I think. Okay.
Does this make the lights flash?
Yes, it does. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. So, thank you very much for the follows. I'm Cortana, indeed. So, put Hannah Montana Linux on it. Oh, DJ Razor, that's such a meme, isn't it? Does that even work anymore? I bet it doesn't. Right, okay, so that's everything in there that we need. And she wants to connect to Wi-Fi, so we're just going to say I don't have internet at the moment. I just want Windows to start so I can have a poke around. And we'll also plug the capture card in and see what's going on. What's this? There's more to discover. No, continue offline. So, how do I make Windows do anything useful? It's a legitimate question. I just don't know. I'm not well versed in Windows. Lying is the best option, right? So, Big Pod asks, so that's a US design, not as good as America. So, traditionally, GPD, they're a small outfit. They tend to make one like form factor for their devices, and they're almost always US keyboard layout. I don't think I've ever seen them with other keyboard layout options. Right, Windows is telling me to just wait a moment, so I don't know if this is going to run out of juice part way through, or indeed if this will charge it. It should do. I was using this with one of the earlier edition. I better accept that Windows license. Who's going to use this PC? Me. My password, oh well, everyone knows my password. I can type it quite happily. My password is of course test. And interestingly, there's some security questions here. So if you've ever seen me working on QuickEmu, you will know that my first pet's name is Test. You will also know that my childhood nickname was Test. And the name of the city where I was born was also Test. So the on-screen keyboard clearly works as well. Oh, hello, fingerprint. We'll skip that for now. I'm not sure I want to do that. And use no. No, you can't do any of these things, Windows. No, I don't want any of this. You can't have any of my data. No, you can't have any of that. No, you can't have any of that. No, you can't do that either. I bet it does it anyway, but, you know, not now. Definitely don't want Cortana. Okay. Hopefully, my first impression is I'm familiar with Windows setup because of the work that I do with QuickEmu, and I've installed Windows many times. This seems to be quite prompt. It seems to be quite decent, and no heat to speak of coming out of the machine at the moment. I mean, it's not doing anything. So while we wait for that to do its thing, let's move on to the next box. So this is a digitizer pen, the active stylus. I believe that the screen on this is Microsoft Pen Protocol or something like that compatible. So I did a little bit of reading about these. I have similar pens for other devices, and I think I know which driver is required, and thankfully that's a driver that exists in the Ubuntu archive already, so it should just be a simple process to get that going. So we've got a battery here. I'm guessing maybe up here. There we go. Oh, that's an interesting... I've never thought of doing that. So, Ergo Stur, that's a curious name, says, I always leave the password blank so I don't have to do the security questions. Interesting. I'd never considered doing that. I might steal that idea totally. I like that a lot. Thank you for sharing that. The only reason I'm booting Windows is one, to make sure the device is working, because this would have been a very short stream otherwise. And thankfully it is. Looks like it's all sorted there. So we've now got a battery in the pen. So I just put the battery in the pen. So there it is. It's there's 2 buttons there. I guess they're like the equivalent of mouse presses. It's actually quite a decent one. That's nicer than the ones I've got with more expensive laptops. I got one with my, I don't know if it's here. I got one with a, yeah, it is. This is one that came with a ThinkPad. And by comparison, this one is much nicer. It feels much nicer in the hand. This is far too light. So, I like that one. I'll get my daughter to give me her artistic assessment of that at some point. So, we'll get that working at some point or other. I don't know if it'll be today or not. Oh, here we go. So, the this says one's the erase button and the other is the right click. And the battery we've installed. Okay. Do not expose the pen to high temperatures. Okay, we won't do that. Right, so Windows is up. Looks like there's a couple of pre-installed bits. So we've got the touchpad. Oh, that's nice. That's glass. That isn't plastic. So that's something I've noticed. The touchpad, I did read, doesn't have any button or tactile input. It's all with these here. And the purpose of this device is it's designed for network admins and people like that. You know, people that work in data centers, remote support and what have you. So it's designed to be the thing that you can take into the data center and connect to everything. And that's where these modular ports around the back come in, or this single modular port, which comes by default with the USB 3 port. But you can also get this, which they have sent. So we'll open this now. I'm just going to check those comments here. So so Linux Paul says that they've got a confession. It's not quite Sunday. But Linux Paul has been using a lot of his Mac recently, and I've got one on the bench behind me. I have managed to limit my time though, to not get too engrossed in it. Right then, yeah. So Jordan says I'd love to take this over to my home lab rack. And I think we're about to find out why you really want a device like this. This is very interesting. I mean, I was very fortunate that they reached out to me to offer to send me one of these so I could work on it, because there's 2 things in here. The first is, like the micro PC that came before it, which had a serial port integrated, which a lot of people thought was a bit bonkers. But of course, if you're a network engineer and you've worked with, you know, Cisco equipment, you know, or you're an embedded engineer and you work in connecting things with JTAG and what have you, having a serial port is actually a rather desirable thing. So what we have in this bag here is an additional module for the port at the back there. It's a little bit difficult to get out of the bag, but this one is a serial port. So we can remove that. I'm not going to do that. Oh, goodness, why are all the things wanting to talk to me this evening? No, go away. Siri, go away. Siri, stop. I don't know. Right, so this is a serial port module. So we won't fiddle with this tonight, but that is something we'll take a look at in the future. But this is the thing that I'm most interested in. This port here, this module, is they call it a KBM, and what this has, let me just get the thing out of the bag, there it is you'll see it's got an HDMI and a USB-C, but that's an HDMI in and a USB-C in. So what you can do is connect let's say a Raspberry Pi to this, and the screen and the keyboard and the trackpad on this device now can control the thing that you've plugged into it. So you could take this into the data center and plug your KVM console into this portable thing, and now you've got you know, a device that is usable by itself but can also control other things, and I think that is super cool. I think these days, I mean, I don't go into data centers anymore. There was a time in my life where I was constantly wearing ear defenders in noisy environments of data centers, but had I had something like this, it would have been killer. So I'm looking forward to this, because I'm thinking this would be great for working on the Raspberry Pi projects that I work on. I can just take a Pi, plug it into that, and then use this as my hookup. And also I'm working on an FPGA Commodore 64 at the moment as well, so I can then plug that device in here, and I've got a screen and a keyboard to actually work with the device. So I'll just go through the chat now and just make sure I've not missed anything. So the KVM thing makes me want the Pocket 3, even though the micro PC is just fine. So you have the micro PC. I mean, that's great if you're a network engineer. I know that was a real boon, and I've used that for hooking up to embedded devices, the serial port on that. I guess the screen is rotatable so it can become a tablet. Yes, I did briefly show that earlier, but yeah, the screen rotates round and then folds back this way, and now in air quotes, a tablet form factor. I'm not sure how useful I'm going to find that. I will have to actually use the device to sort of get a feel for whether I think that's something I would use or not. Right, let's just check the power levels here. What have we got? I keep going to the mouse. That's the wrong thing to do. So how much power is there? There is 84%, which it reckons is about 4.25 hours battery life. Okay. So these PDFs and things I've been sent before. So I think I've seen everything I need to see on the Windows side of the house here. Thank you very much. Who was that? Thanks for the follow. One more commit. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. So the device works. It's got charge. The good news is it's also got HDMI, full-size HDMI out. So I should be able to hook this up to my capture device. So maybe we'll do that whilst Windows is running, so we know that works. So I thought I would have to use an HDMI to USB-C dongle, which is this thing here. But now I think I can just do away with the dongle. And we'll plug this in, and we'll switch to the capture view and see if we've got anything. There we go. That was easy. So this is the device running Windows. This looks like Windows 10, doesn't it? Yes. Is this Windows 10? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, Windows 10. So I don't think there's anything else I want to do with this on the Windows side of things. Is there anything I can learn from the hardware? Maybe we should do... gosh, what was that thing called? Device manager. There we go. So I keep picking up my desktop mouse. So let's have a look. What have we got here? Let's just have a little recce, because see what I can learn before I start tinkering with... okay, interesting. So this looks like this is the new audio chipset. So
thank you for the follow, Mal5305.
hello Mal, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to the stream. So I think this can use the Sound Open firmware. So it will be interesting to see whether that's supported by a current kernel, or the firmware is for this device is available. And if not, we may have to enable the legacy support for the audio. And I wonder if this has got an integrated mic, because that might be D-mic as well. So there could be some complications on the audio side of things. So that will be interesting to look at. We know the audio works here because Cortana obviously was interrupting us earlier. Oh, a Focal Tech fingerprint reader. The last I checked, those are definitely not supported in Linux, so we'll have to put that one on the back burner. So I won't get into fingerprint stuff at the moment. Oh, cameras. Oh, I've seen that before. Okay, that shouldn't be an issue. None of the disk stuff should be an issue. Display adapter. Okay, so Iris Z, that should be fine. I think we'll probably have to use... We won't use the LTS though. Device firmware. Just curious. I wonder what that's all about. Anything else here that I can learn from? Network adapters might be useful. Okay, so that should be supported by Linux, no problem. The Wi-Fi adapter and that chipset, the Bluetooth should work as well. So no indication. So one of the things I'm going to have to poke around in when we get to the Linux side of things is taking a look at the touch device, the vendor and the trackpad, and making sure all of those work properly. So hi Hakiri Knight, going pretty well. Now I'm settled into this. I'm looking forward to having a play with this. I've had this sat on the table behind me for a day, waiting for an opportunity to work on it. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, so Big Pod points out that he thinks that KVM feature is amazing. I think this is a killer feature. Also, for live streaming, right? Think of the fun you could have with this. I mean, I wonder if I could use this as like a on-the-go live streaming, PC. It's got a reasonable CPU in it. We should be able to do accelerated H.264 on it. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting device. Hello, McPhail. How are you doing? And McPhail asks, so are you going to be using 2204 on this? So I'm going to try and get 2110 working on this as my starting point. What I've been doing with the GPD devices so far is when we got to 2204, I span an image on 2204 for all of them. And I've not been doing the interim releases because, all of the stuff works and it's a lot of work to keep making, I think 9 images now. So this one I'll release with 2110. And when 2204 comes out, I will respin the entire series with 2204. So all of them have a 2204 image. I'm going to start with 2110, and depending on the kernel support in 2004, I may spin an image for 2004, but I will see whether the necessary hardware support's there or not. Definitely. So Yannick says, it's a good idea, Yannick. Yannick says, you definitely need to do an on-site stream during the next dog camp, whenever that is. Yeah, I think doing some sort of live stream session or at Odd Camp would be jolly good fun. So I can see there's a number of new people in the chat this evening. So I haven't done one of these for a little while. I know Windows is on the screen at the moment. We are about to get to the Linux stuff, I promise. I'm going to shut this down and we'll get cracking in just a moment. For those of you who are here, just type in chat the distribution that you're currently using, or the distribution that you most frequently use, or if you're a casual Linux user, the distribution that you like most. Let's just have a straw poll on Linux, users and adoption in the chat. Amiga OS. Oh, Jordan. Okay, so Wendell gave us a retweet. That's very good. Oh, KDE Neon. Okay. Ubuntu sometimes rel. Okay. Hey, Savoy. Suravi. Crikey, some of these names. Debian. Fine choice. Banan. Thanks for the follow, Jordan. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. Well, I think I think I've learned everything I need to learn from Windows. I've downloaded an OS image. If I ever need to go back to do BIOS upgrades or what have you, I can do that. So let's shut this thing down. And we'll flip over via this screen. We'll flip over to another screen and we'll get an Ubuntu MATE image on a USB stick. Where did I put my USB stick? There it is. So, so Oxton, wow, you use, welcome to the stream, by the way, Oxtom. Alpine, Elementary OS, Void and Proxmox. Okay, so the reason seeing Alpine and Proxmox in there, you into containers and VMs? If so, you're among friends. We also work on QuickEmu here, and I work for Slim AI, and we've got a channel here, Slim DevOps, where we do container optimization. So if you're interested in container tech, we do live streams over there doing container stuff. Hey Dominic, welcome to the stream. OpenSUSE, okay. Damp Sparks, Fedora for many years, and Ubuntu in some places, okay. Ubuntu, CentOS and RHEL at work, okay. All good choices. Quite a mixture. I just hope the UVC device name gets fixed in there. What's this you're referring to, Hikiri Knight? I'm tired of all the video devices being named Video Capture 3, etc. in all applications. Yeah. Yeah, it's easier if you've got PCI devices. I think they don't switch around so much. And Pop OS, okay. Monica is supposed to come to OggCamp 2. Yeah, I've not seen... I'm in the OggCamp organisers chat rooms, but I've not seen any chitter-chatter about a new one being organised. I guess because, well, we're in semi-lockdown again here at the moment, so... Our third confinement. Right then, okay. So, Alex Moonshine, hello, welcome to the stream. Ubuntu MATE. Oh, well, thank you very much. Pop OS, OpenSUSE, and Debian on the server. Yeah. YetiOps, hello, welcome back. Manjaro and Ubuntu MATE. You manage Debian and Ubuntu, Alpine, OpenBSD. Okay. Okay then, right. Let's have a quick think. So we need an operating system to stick on this. So let's go back here. We'll just whoop, what have I done there? Oh, that's what I wanted. Let's plug this into the computer, which is over here. Right. So I've just plugged that USB stick in. Let's go here, and let's just in fact, let's do it the easy way. Let's make you smaller, much smaller than that. There we go. So this is my file browser. We'll just hop into development. I downloaded a couple of images and this project is here. So we'll just put that image on the USB stick. Image writer. Stick that on the Corsair. Start, restore. I don't think I typed that right. Oh yeah, I got it. There we go. Right, so let's get that on the USB stick, and then we'll boot this with the capture device. I'm not sure the capture device is going to do like the BIOS screens particularly. We'll probably have a quick look in the BIOS and see what's enabled and turned off and stuff like that. Thanks for the information, Hikiri Knight. I appreciate that. That's useful. So Linux Paul says Fedora Silver Blue is a fun thing. Yes, it really is. I did a live stream with George Castro about that last year now on the Slim DevOps channel, where we dived into that, and we were looking at like, is this the future of Linux on the desktop, and how do you adapt to this sort of new paradigm? It was good stuff. Right, so we're done with that. We've got an OS, so let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Overhead view, I suppose. Right, let's pull this out. So these are pretty great. I love these Corsair GTX USB drives. If you're not familiar, they are essentially an SSD in an enclosure. They're really solid, durable metal, and they are the fastest by a country mile USB drives you can get. You can get them up to 1 terabyte, and I use these because it saves so much time. You would have seen how quickly I put the OS image on there. That was a 3.5 gig OS image. Right, let's just turn this on, and it's usually function F7 to get in. There it is. There it is. So you can't see that very well, but that is a very small what do I want to boot from screen. And one of the options is indeed the USB drive. So I've also got the option to enter setup. So let's try. Yeah, so the capture out isn't working in this at this point here, so I can't. So I won't go into the BIOS. I won't waste your time looking at something you can't see. So we'll boot off the USB. So this is the first issue we're going to need to solve. Is I don't know if you can see, but everything's rotated. So this is the top of the screen, and as I go down, you can see, you know, this is the issue. So this is common on GPD devices. I think there's only one that I've worked on where the screen was orientated correctly. So that's the first thing we'll need to fix. So we'll just have to look at everything at 90 degrees for the moment. So we'll boot Ubuntu MATE, and let's see. So I can't see the. So I think also we're going to need to coerce the resolution of the frame buffer, so I can see that nothing is displayed there, and there should be stuff on screen. And now you're going to see that everything again is still like portrait, and in fact looks like I'm going to struggle because it looks like it's drawn stuff off the screen. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do an install. Am I going to be able to? Let's have a little think about this. Maybe it's on. Ha! Ha ha! Brilliant. Okay, so this was the advantage of putting the capture card in. The capture card, this is off the capture device, and this is orientated the right way. So I can actually proceed with an installation. So this is good. I think. Shall I install it? Yeah, why not? Let's just do it. Let's just do an install. So we know that keyboard layout is correct. We can just confirm that. Yeah, that's correct. So we'll just overwrite everything. We won't do that at the moment. I don't want to do this right now. Continue. I haven't set up a VLAN for this today. Right then. So yeah, so it was rather small, that, wasn't it? Yes. Okay. So I think I need new eyes to use this. Yeah, it is fantastically small. All right, let's just do a normal install. We don't need any. Let's use the actual trackpad. There we go. So yeah, I think it's 1920 by 1200 the resolution of the panel, and it's an 8-inch panel. So it's, you know, it's relatively high resolution for the size of the display. Install, no, erase everything. Erase everything. So things I'm going to need to learn are what the name of the display devices are. Is it, you know, what protocol it's using, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And then it should be possible to get in and change a bunch of stuff. So let's oh, so okay, this was this is a Pocket 3. My password is test, by the way. There we go. Right then, we'll let that do its thing. So whilst that's installing, let me just check on the chat stuff. So yeah, it's the only, isn't it? It's weird, isn't it? So you know, Ergo says, you know, yes, the usual GPD. Yeah, I imagine it must be a cost-saving thing. I mean, it's easy enough to work around, you know, and I will get into that. I don't know how much of the like tweaking and tuning and configuration I'll get into today. I'll show you the scripts that I use. I think if I could produce an image that just rotates the screen today, so that I can basically put an image on, do a reinstall, and everything's orientated correctly out of the gate, I think then that's a really nice place to then tinker on the rest of the stuff and see how the rest of the bits work. So I think that's probably a good objective. Just get the screen rotated. Oh, and the touch screen as well also needs to be rotated in accordance with the screen. And then everything else is sort of minor stuff, because the audio is either going to work or need tinkering with. It did see Wi-Fi, didn't it? So I think that's not going to be an issue. So yeah, it could be a good one, this. Right. Yes, so Jordan says they're probably using common tablet displays. I think they do. I think this was, since the very beginning, I think they have been, you know, tablet displays. But nevertheless, you know, it can be rotated. It's curious that it's not. In fact, one of them, in the BIOS, you could set the rotation. Yeah. So far, I've been very impressed with the displays in the GPDs that I've used. They've all been decent quality, and I've not had any dead pixels, and my oldest one is from 2016. Let's see how the install's coming along. Nearly done. Right, I'm very happy about this full HDMI out on the side here. That has made my evening. I can put that back in its box. Right then. Come on, what are you doing? Is this rebuilding initial RAM disk? Gosh, that's tiny. Yes, it is. Okay. Right then. So Hakiri says, "Oh wow, there's quite the comment. Let's have a look here." I remember I once spun up a test server and named it Tasting Server, and it existed for a year before I noticed my misspell. Very good. Yeah, I like it when your sort of test installs suddenly become production servers. You know, in the good old bad old days of actual physical servers. So who here in the chat has got a GPD device of some description? In fact, if you've got a GPD device, just put the model that you've got. I'll be interested to see a show of hands of how many people have got these, or if they're just interested, have always been interested in these small computers. I think I definitely bought the first one, the Pocket. And I can't remember if I bought the second one or if that's when I started working on them with them. I think I bought the first two and then contacted them, and they started sending them to me. Yeah. I really like the gaming form factor ones. They're pretty neat with the controllers built into them. Well, this is... I wonder why this is taking so long. Curious. So, Big Pod says, I don't own any. but have an interest in these small computers, mostly because of the Steam Deck. Yeah, so I've done the enablement with Ubuntu MATE for the, which one is it? It's the, let's get them down. It's this one, and its predecessor. So this was the last one I did. Let's just move to the overhead camera. Just move some bits out of the way. The last one I did was this one, which I absolutely love. And I say I love, I mean, it's great, but it's mostly my daughter loves it. So this one has got controllers built in, and you can switch, it's just great. And this one's got a really nice keyboard on it as well. And the caps lock key is almost irrelevant, which I'm a big fan of. So I love this one. And I did do a stream with this where we actually brought this one up as well. So this was the last one I did, and I think it was middle of last year. And I've been wanting to get my hands on the newer ones, but they can't make as many as they need to supply, so they weren't able to send me an engineering sample. And they did say that they weren't seeing as much interest for Linux on the gaming devices as they were on their, you know, laptop and sort of network administration devices. So they weren't so interested in having Linux on that. But I think the Steam Deck could be a reason to have changed their mind on that. I'm gonna ask, because I'd like to work on some of the other gaming ones. Right, so install's done. Let's do a restart. Let's use the right mouse to do that with. Okay, what's that? ACP ISB. Okay. So this we should find that this is going to be all wonky again. Okay, so that I can't even see on my display. You'll see in the capture. So I've got the login screen here, but I should be able to. There we go. I should, yeah. If I move the mouse over, I can log in here. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to have to log in, and then I'll put an, here we go. So that's good. Okay, so I've got this is the primary display, which is the wrong way round. So I could do, or this would be, if I did the same image on both displays, then I'm driving everything backwards, so that's going to be awkward. So we'll just get rid of that for now. So I can see, in fact, we don't need the USB drive plugged in anymore, do we? So we can pull that out. Let's put you down there as well. So if I just go to the overhead view, this is what I'm looking at right now, which is the, you know, the top panel and the bottom panel. And if I bring up the, you can't really see very well, but you know, that's me bringing up the searchable menus. So that whole thing needs rotating. Now, a lot of the guides you see, people will just bring up the display preferences and rotate the display, and certainly that works. But the better thing to do is to actually configure the device in all of the places that it can be configured. So in the display servers and in the frame buffer at boot and all of that, to actually rotate it by default. And then it appears correct, you know, the right way to everything from that point onwards. Right, okay. So Jordan says that he'd like to turn the Stream Deck into something like this, but I'll have to design my own keyboard. Or you could use one of those, you know, wireless Bluetooth controller, you know, keyboard, so you don't actually have to, you know, have a keyboard on it. You can just have a wireless keyboard. So let's get on with this again. So let's have a little think. The first thing I need to do is, if I switch back to the capture view, if I bring up a terminal and make the fonts bigger. Let's see, where's plus? Oh, where is plus? There it is. Okay. Oops, that's a little bit too much. There we go. Is that installed? It is. Okay, so this is... This is going to be DP... okay, the HDMI is what I've connected to. DSI. Okay, DSI 1. So, the first thing I'm going to look at then is... Just move this to the side for one moment. We'll go and look at the code that I used to build the configurations and the images for these things. So I've got that open somewhere here. Here it is. So long-time viewers will know that everything I do here is a shell script. Well, not everything, but you know, it's kind of a meme of the channel. But this is a shell script, and this basically does a thing where it unpacks the image, injects some configuration, and repacks the image. That's how this process works. But in here, we have a data directory, which is all of the configurations for the different GPD devices, and also some similar devices as well. So if I grep DSI in there, no, grep DSI data. Let's just take a look. What have we got? Yeah, I thought there was... Oh, so so the GPD Pocket and the micro PC. Oh, and interesting, the Topjoy Falcon, which was another one that I bought myself, and I really like that device. They're all DSI. In fact, that's interesting. So I think maybe for the screen, it's going to be most similar to the Topjoy Falcon in that respect. So we'll take a look at that in a moment.
Thank you for the follow, unskilled_pleb.
Thanks very much for the follow and welcome to the stream. So we'll take a look at that. So let's just bring that down and let's go here and we'll take a look at that one. Oh, this is all going to be different. So the Intel stuff we're not going to touch at the moment because it's a different chipset and it may not be necessary. But that is the Topjoy Falcons.
Thank you for the follow, Peacemaker.
Thanks very much for the follow, Peacemaker, and welcome to the stream. So if we take a look at this monitor configuration here, I think that, in fact, it even still says, because this was the same as the Pocket. So I think if we copy that one. Who did that? You're not wrong. I am having a think, Yannick. If we copy that one to 40 GPD Pocket 3, I think. Yeah, GPD Pocket 3. .conf. Okay. And GPD Pocket 3 monitor. So that should account for both the mode setting and Intel driver, and in fact it is working, so it does work the way I expect it to. That's good. So we'll just change this GPD Pocket 3. So the mode setting, the variant, and the so that will do the rotation automatically once the display server is up. So that will mean, like, once light DM is up and all the rest of it, things will be the correct way. But what we also need to look at is this, and I think that would probably work. So let's go and make that change now by hand. So let's just think about... I've got too many computers and virtual screens. It's actually... I'm actually a little bit flummoxed as to which screen to switch to make the changes I want. But if we move to the capture screen here, what we can actually... Oh, I've got no Ethernet on here at the moment, have I? So I think I'll do this by hand first. So let's just move back here. So I want to EFI FB corn rotate :1. Okay. And that is fine. Okay. Right, okay. I might have to switch back and forwards there. I can't remember all of that, but there we go. Let's just move back here. We'll this is not the in air quotes right way to do this. Hang on a minute, I'm forgetting. I'm now driving this display with this keyboard and mouse. So if we cd to etc default grub.d, I'm not sure I want to make this change here. No, I don't. Let's think about this. I will. This is the way I will make the change. Where's the curious keyboard? Right. Test. Okay, here we go. So it was EFI FB. I can't remember. EFI FB video equals EFI FB. Equals, and then it's FB con. Let's have another look. Rotate :1. Equals. Okay. Where's colon? There it is, down there. So that should correct the bootloader and hopefully the Plymouth splash screen as well. And if not, there was something I did on the gaming device last time. So sudo oh come on, this I keep missing the key. Update grub. There we go. Right then, let's do that, and we'll not do this a clean way, we'll just do it that way. So if I move to the overhead view now, we'll see what we get on this when it reboots. Why is my camera struggling so much to... Ooh, it really doesn't want to focus, does it? Glorious success. I don't know if you saw that, but... oh, okay. Oh no, that's right, because we didn't change the monitor configuration. So, what you won't have seen there, but I did, is the console was correctly rotated. So that's a step in the right direction. So I suppose the next thing to do is probably get this plugged into Ethernet, which I can do very quickly because I don't want to mess around with Wi-Fi because I've not got my VLAN configured at the moment. So let's just plug this cable in because this is hardwired into the VLAN. So I will just grab you and we'll do it with a wire, and then I should be able to copy the config over that I just made and drop that in, and let's go here to the capture view. That is, there we go, I am now connected. So let's not bother with that at the moment though. There's that. So oh I know what that is, that's fine, don't send. I can't send it at the moment anyway. Right, okay, let's apt update is now I'm going to need to do first because that cache won't exist. My Password is test. Right then. Hello, Peacemaker. Okay, that's interesting. So, Peacemaker says... He says, hello. Why didn't that work? Let's try that again. There we go. Hopefully, I should receive a Pocket 3 soon. Looking forward to getting Linux on it. Well, then in which case, you'll either have an image of Ubuntu MATE ready by the time yours arrives, or you'll have learned where my GitHub repository is with the necessary hacks and tweaks that you need to apply the changes to the distribution that you prefer to use. Because I think most of this stuff will be largely interchangeable. So sudo apt install SSH. Right. That was quite prompt, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, that's a bit small, isn't it? I better just make that a little bit bigger. There we go. And I can also make that full screen. There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? Right. Okay. Let's have a look. What are we? Our IP address is 2.10. So if we go here, and then on this keyboard, SCP 40. Not GPD that, but Pocket PC3 to Martin at 192.168.2. Is it 110? Is that what I said? Can't remember. Let's have a look. Yeah, 110. So copy that over. Could not result. Oh, hello. Got a big old fat number there. That won't work. There we go. Try that again. Good. Yes. And the password, of course, is test. There we go. Right. So that's copied to this machine now. So let's move back here. And let's sudo cp 40 that monitor configuration to user share x. Is it capitalized? Oops. I keep. Oh, that's interesting. Delete and del are right next to each other. X11. I think xorg conf.d. That will be where we want to put that. So I think we'll just reboot. Is that where that goes? User share xorg. I think it is. Let's find out. I can't remember for certain, but if that's not where it is, we'll put it in the right place afterwards. But anyway, here comes another boot of the machine. So the OEM logo's correct, and this is now. I should have brought up grub, but there was no text output. But aha, there we go. Hopefully you can see we are now correctly orientated. So this is a million times better because now this becomes significantly more usable. So at this point we have rotated the console, the frame buffer, and we have rotated the main screen. So that's an improvement, and the wired network works. I'm going to believe that Wi-Fi works because it can actually see wireless networks. We'll send the telemetry up to score 1 for the good guy. Oh, that did register a tap. Aha, it is that. So you can tap. So I wonder how many gestures that supports. We'll have a look at that. Okay, well that's good. So let's now do this. We'll bring up the capture view, and we can see everything's a bit weird because the way the screen was configured. But if we bring up displays, oh, I see, they're overlapping one another now. So how do I do this? If I drag that over here, this is me configuring the displays now. So this is my capture display. So what we'll do is set this screen to 1200 by, is it in the list? No. Okay, we want to do bother. Okay, never mind. I will do it this way. I'll just say put the same image on both monitors anyway and apply that and see what we get. One of them's going to be a bit... Oh, I've chosen the wrong... No, don't keep this. Oh no. Oh, it's that game. Am I going to figure it out before it times out? It's the everything reversed game. Restore previous. Restore previous. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again. Where's the mouse cursor? It's over there. There it is. Right, let's try that again, but make... Oh no, that's wrong too. I want... Oh, it's not in the list anymore. That's annoying. So I'm going to have to do one of these little hacks where I permanently put that inverted resolution in the list here. So let's just close that. It's fine. It's all doable. So let's just take a little look here. So I can see there's been some comments. Jordan says, what are you using for the smoothing and tweening the movement of things on stream? So I'm using a plugin for OBS called Move Transition, which does all of that stuff. And I've been maintaining the snap of OBS for a long time, and it comes bundled with a whole load of plugins to do cool stuff with OBS. But I recently made another project called OBS Fully Loaded, which is a script that installs OBS on Ubuntu and all of those plugins. Tons of them, lots of different things for, you know, improved hardware accelerated video encoding, a whole bunch of stuff. So, but the one I'm using for all of that animation is called Move Transition. Yeah, so Yannick was also just explaining in chat as well that I maintain various OBS ways to get OBS where they come with all the good stuff. Thank you, Yannick. Thanks. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Okay, so Jordan says, curious how many touch it is. Seems good even from what you've shown so far. Well, of course, I need to rotate the touch controller now. So the touch is off. The touch is obviously inverted on compared to the screen. So that's probably the next thing we should work on. Actually, let's do that. We have a reasonably usable, you know, display. I know what to do to get the rest of that working, but we should get the touch calibration sorted as well. So let's bring up a terminal, and why did it? I've really got a wonky setup, haven't I? Okay, I've got these displays overlapping. I think that's part of the problem. So let's bring you over here and do that. That's better. Make you bigger so we can read you. So LS USB. Hello there. Thank you for the follow, Official Gapman. Thank you for the follow, Official Gapman. Welcome to the stream. So that keyboard looks very familiar. That looks like a model that I've encountered before, and it won't just be the keyboard, it's that whole keyboard and trackpad integration, that whole harness. So if we just go back to where I'm working on my configuration, I think there is we just maximize that. Here we go. Track points. So we think that it might be a bit like that. So if we just have a look at what's in that top joy. Yes, indeed it is. So this here is just for emulating a scroll wheel. So what this should do, if we drop that in, and I'm going to copy that over in a sec, is that should make it possible to hold down the middle mouse button. This has a physical mouse button, center mouse button, and then by scrolling up and down on the trackpad emulates a scroll wheel. So we'll copy that over and we'll give that a try and see if this, because this is the same model here, so it should work. So we'll CP80 the top joy Falcon to AT, just call it that, and then remove this bit here. GPD Pocket 3. No, AT GPD Pocket 3, and change this accordingly. But this is the trackpad with the keyboard, not the touchscreen that we're looking at here at the moment. So that should be what we need there. And then for the touch there, we need the UDEV rules. So I don't think this device is going to be the same. However, let's have a look. 99 top joy. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be listed as that this time. Goodix capacitive touchscreen. I can't actually remember how I exposed that device. Let me just have a look at the README for this. I may have documented that in the, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I may have documented this in the README. Down the bottom here, I think I might have written, there we go, X input, that's what we need. So let's go back to the capture and we'll just do X input. That's ever so slightly off. So this one is, there it is there. That's new. I've not encountered that before. A GXTP 7380. Okay. And there we go. There's the, interesting. Okay. So this is actually, yeah, okay, so there's the keyboard and mouse. Okay. So I've not seen colons in the vendor names before. I wonder if that's, this has it though. Okay, well, we'll start with that. So GXTP 7380. So let's start there. Let's just maximize this. So what we're doing now is, because we've rotated the screen, the touch controller is now rotated 90 degrees differently from the screen. So we need to rotate the touch controller as well. And we're going to need to figure out the orientation too. So let's just start by having a look at a couple of these. Let's look at, no, this one. Okay, 010 minus 1 0 1. Okay. Cat 99 star. Let's just look at all of them. Oh, that's not helpful. So they've all been the same model till now. So therefore they were all configured the same. Okay. Well, so it doesn't matter which one we take. We'll take one of those. We'll copy this one as we've been using, basing it on these. We'll take that. We'll do that. We'll make this the GPD Pocket 3. So code that. And we think it is going to be something like, oh, hang on. I didn't want to do that. That was wrong. We want to look at the capture screen. So I will just say, hello, official Gap Man. Welcome to the stream. Yes, Ubuntu for life indeed. Hello, Andy Hazen. Welcome back. Happy New Year. And Unskilled Pleb says, I work in IT, but when it comes to Linux, but I'm only an egg when it comes to Linux. Well, we all have to start somewhere, right? Hoping to pick up some Linux skills watching this, so I can escape the help desk. Yeah, well, you know, if you want to learn a bit more Linux, then this is a good place. We've got a Discord community. There's over 2,000 people in there now. So if you want to join a place where there's a friendly crowd of Linux enthusiasts, users, developers, and you want to, you know, try new stuff and, you know, get some help along the way, then, you know, come and join us. I stream here. I've just been taking a little break over the Christmas and New Year period, but I stream here about three times a week, and I'll be keeping that cadence. I'll be doing some morning streams and a couple of evening streams to catch different time zones and what have you. So welcome. Right, so let's just get back to where we were. So we need to change this to be our G-Man, welcome.
Thank you for the follow, GMEM_.
So, GXTP 7380. It's a mouthful. GXTP 7380. Okay. I don't know if that is going to be sufficient. And the other thing I'm just going to check is I did look through the docs that I was sent. So let me just bring those up on the other screen here. Because I think I got something. Okay. The transformation matrix is quite different. Okay, so let's copy. So that's what we had, and this is what I was calculating from the other thing. So actually that's got a bit on the end there. So the first, so I'm gonna just leave it as it was, and we'll see if that works. And if it doesn't, then I calculated a different offset. And also, I don't know if that is going to be sufficient to instruct the thing to detect that device. So, but anyway, we'll go with that. So let's just take a look here. What is this? I don't know. I don't want that. So GPD Pocket 3 touch rules, SCP 99 GPD Pocket 3 touch rules 2 192.168.2.1110. Go. Okay, my password is test, by the way. Good stuff. Right, let's see if we can make that go. Let's just take a look here. So the rules, I think I put the rules in the same spot. Trackpoint conf, trackpoint xor conf path, user share. Yeah, that's all good. Right, let's go and do that thing. Right. Yannick, you bugger. I've been plunged into darkness. It's time for a beer, in which case. Thanks for stopping by, Yannick. I'll speak to you soon. Oh, right, I'm using the wrong keyboard and mouse. Right, so we're here again, and what we want to do is CP. No, we want to that to user share x11 x or comp.d. Test is my password, and we will reboot this. In fact, we can just log out, I think. Let's use the right thing. So switch off. Oh, well, that's script restart. I don't think that was necessary, but we're doing it. So whilst that brink comes up, Jordan says that he knew zero Linux stuff in his career. went IT web hosting. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it is. Yeah, you can do it. I think that's good encouragement right there. You know, it's not gatekeeping. So this is the Kraken thing there, and the reason for that is I'm a big fan of Git Kraken, which is here, and that is what I use for my source control UI, and so sometimes when I break out the Kraken now, this isn't coming up. If I get to the point where I'm satisfied that some of this stuff is ready to go up to the Git repository, I'll push today, and you'll see me, you know, how I use it. This is not good. This is not good. This is you can see here that's not coming up. So I wonder if I've screwed up UDev. I haven't rebuilt the triggers either, did I? So let's try turning it on again. Well, I suppose the screen rotation's okay, so I could build an image. I did say at the beginning, if we build an image with the screen rotation baked in, that would probably be a good place to start. So maybe we'll do that. If this doesn't come up, then that's the... Oh no, it has come up. So I wonder what caused that to not be right. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'll use the overhead view. And we'll see if not that you can see that very well because it gets a bit overexposed, but what I'm going to try and do is, oh no, so the touch is not calibrated correctly, not at all. So we will change that matrix then to the one that I pre-calculated earlier and see if that works any better. So we will, in fact it could be that it's not recognizing the device appropriately. So I wonder which it is. Let's go and see if we can find out. Let's go here and we'll have a terminal nice and big, please. Zoom it in. So let's see if we've got any clues in here. No, it was a UDev rule, wasn't it? Where are the special keys? Oh my gosh. Oh, there it is, all the way up there. Oh, of course. Yeah, we have to always do that with sudo. Test. Okay. So here we can see the stuff that we poked into Grub to change the screen rotation for the frame buffer, and a load of stuff there. I'm just looking in here to see if I can get a hint as to how that device string is formatted when the touch controller is brought up, because I want to check that I'm using the right string before I start changing the transformation matrix of the controller, because if I start changing the wrong thing, that's a bit pointless. So the other thing I need to look at is in the BIOS is look at the TDP, because you can configure the TDP on this. And while this is a particularly, I think you copied that rules. Oh, Peacemaker, thank you very much. And whoever's running moderation on the chat, thank you very much for pulling that comment out for me. I think you're right, Peacemaker. I think that's exactly what I did. So, yes, let's go. Thank you very much. Let's go back here and bring up the code editor. So we want to be dropping that into etc udev rules.d. So let's go back here. Thank you very much. That could have been a wild goose chase right there. I'm using the wrong keyboard again. It's so confusing. I usually only have one machine that I need to do this stuff from. So, that to /etc udev rules.d. That's where we want to do that. And we'll just reboot. That'll be the quickest way around this. Also, I want to see if I can see what didn't work last time, if it's going to do that strange not coming up thing. So let's just look. What was this doing? I have to watch sort of both screens because I'm not... No, if anything's coming out, it's coming out down here. So overhead view. Here's the box coming up. Okay, right, so that's correctly orientated. I wonder if I can... Oh. No, at the moment it's still not right, so... Oops. Right. So if I just try and move the mouse around, I can see that it's not... So I'm touching here, but the mouse is dancing around where this finger is. So it's still orientated incorrectly. So I do still need to figure out if I've got the identification string incorrect, or if the transformation matrix for the controller is wrong. But I think what I'm going to do is, as we know we've got the monitor stuff right, I think I'm going to do that, build an image with the correct stuff and actually like do an install with it all correctly orientated, because that feels like forward progress in terms of I can then blow the system away and reinstall as I test the other configuration options out. So is there anything else in here? Oh, it's the audio. The audio is something I wanted to have a look at. So let's just bring this up and bring up the sound. Bring that over to the other screen. And look at the hardware. So it doesn't see any hardware. So this is what I was half anticipating. So yeah. So there's two things we can try here. I need to just refer to some notes because I can't remember if it's... Yeah, okay. So let's do that on the machine directly. So let's just make this bigger. What probe? So I apt search SOF. So there's a project called Open Sound. Oh, I've used the wrong thing again. Open Sound Firmware, which is for a new sort of generation of chipset-based audio devices in laptops. And I don't know if the firmware for this is available yet. Gosh, that's going to be a nightmare to look for that way. So let's search. Let's try Open Sound. No, okay. All right then. So we don't want to be in Etsy Block Pro though. We want to be in. Yes, we do. So we could edit kit3.conf. Actually, Elsa, and these devices can be forced into a legacy mode. So we'll just put in some options for that. So it's options, sound, what is it, Intel, oh where's, there we go, Intel, DSP, CFG, and then this flag DSP driver equals 1 tells it to force the chipset into a legacy mode, which I think may then get picked up. DSP underscore driver, did I get that right? Yeah. So we'll go with that. We'll reboot, and then we'll bring up that sound thing again and see if we can see that the hardware is detected. Now the other option is instead of doing that DSP driver equals 1, we can force it to the sound open firmware with DSP driver equals 3. But I've no familiarity with working with such devices, so I may just go with this as the quick fix, and then that gives me time to go and research the other stuff a bit more thoroughly. So let's just log in, and let's bring you over. So I suppose I'm actually like using this to do stuff, which is kind of good for the purposes of like, you know, what I'm doing here. It's quite comfortable to use, I suppose. Did it make a sound? It did. I don't know if the mic's picking that up, but that's the error bell. So I'm reasonably confident that's actually got that working. So if we go and look at the hardware now, we should see something. There we go, built in. 1 output, 2 inputs. Yes, because there's an HDMI, isn't there? So analog stereo duplex, and there's the HDMI. Oh, it's picked up everything. Holy cow, that's great. So if we do test speakers, it's a bit quiet. Can we turn her up a little bit? Let's try that and that. There we go. We can raise the volume. Should be able to pick this up on the mic.
Front, left, front, right.
Well, that looks like a jolly good fix to me. I'll just turn that down a bit now. But that is the audio sorted. Okay, that's wonderful. So I think we'll incorporate the audio fix, the monitor fixes for the frame buffer and the display server. We'll get that in the image builder, and we'll build an image, and then we'll do an install, and all of those things should be fixed and working. And then that means, oh, I suppose the other thing is, whilst we've got the machine here and running, I've no idea how these pens work. I imagine for the pen to work, I'm going to need to fix the touch calibration. So maybe we won't do that now. We'll do what I said. We'll go and update the scripts, getting the sound and the screen orientations correct. We'll build an image and install with that image, and we should have a reasonably decent experience. So let's drop over here and bring up this. So what have we got? We've got... What have we got missing? So Intel. I wonder if that's the same. We could copy one over. I'll leave it for the moment. So this Intel configuration is to do things like configure the Intel IGP driver to not have screen tearing and things of that nature. But this is a different IGP. I've never used it before, so I need to actually assess the characteristics and see if it needs any of those fixes. It may be that it doesn't, but we'll have to have a look at that. Right. So a few of you have got keen hearing, it seems, because Big Pod says, hey Mail, thanks very much for the follow and welcome to the stream. So Big Pod says they heard the light DM sound as well, so yeah, that's good. Are there any downsides to that legacy mode? I don't know. I imagine there must be, but I will investigate. I'll have to find out exactly what chip this has got in it, what the state of support from the Sound Open firmware project is, and sort of dig into it. But the fact that so many of those devices came up gives me good feelings, especially that it saw the HDMI as well. That was terrific. So yeah, I think it will be fine, but I'll check and I'll see. I would prefer that we use SOF, but it may not be an option at the moment, so I'll have to go away and have a little think about that. But as a first pass, this is shaping up quite nicely. So let's have a look. What else have we got? We've got GrubD. So what's this then? Oh, okay. I think, how many CFG files have I got there? Let's have a look at what's in those. So there they all are. So we're going to need one of these, I think. This is to make the grub changes persistent. There, good. Okay. So CP. That's nice and easy, because we know that's going to be the same, and that will be called GPD Pocket 3. So that's actually making sure that grub keeps the frame buffer rotation persistent across kernel upgrades and things of that nature. We don't need the G-schema override. This was specifically for this device because it had a high DPI display, so we forced the high DPI integer scaling to be enabled. We've got the monitor, so if I just look at those, I think they're all the same. They're identical. So this is what I've used in the past to make sure that the Intel stuff doesn't have tearing. But I'm not going to put that in by default at the moment because I'll need to assess that. Okay, so what have we? The only thing we've then got missing is this, which I've just neglected. I'm just dodging that for the moment, and then the touch stuff, which we've created a rule for, but we don't think is right. Code 99 GPD Pocket touch rules. So let's just hop over here. Yeah, so Big Pod says the Iris XE is a decent iGPU. Yes, I don't think I've ever used one. This is my first device with one in. I've heard good things. In subsequent streams, I'm definitely going to be digging into that. You know, we'll have a look at the iGPU performance, and we'll look at things like, you know, video encoding on it, and because it's got that KVM module, we'll see what we can do with OBS and VA API, you know, hardware encoding and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to sort of have a little test of the system and see what more we can do with it. But I just want to run X input again. So hey, look, let's just go and see what I've got in these. So I'm just going to look and see, try and figure out. Okay, so I've used that entire string. Match pro. Oh! Track point. Okay. Okay, and that was just for. Okay, alright. I think then what we need to do is change this to be the full string, and I think it was 00 and then some, it looked like almost like vendor IDs. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Let's just go back here. So if we look here, it looks like a vendor string, doesn't it? So let's just do this. Let's copy that, use the right device. Let's just copy that. And that was wrong. Right click and copy. There we go. Let's go and paste that in to our udev rule. My password is still test. So let's try this. So actually it looks like I might get away with actually doing something like that as well. It looks like wildcards might be an option. So let's start with that. Because these down here have got stylus and keyboard, so a wildcard might be good. So let's try that, and let's reboot and see if that gets the touch stuff calibrated correctly. And if it does, then we can have a fiddle with the pen, maybe. So Big Pod asks, that was loud, what do you do with all of these GPD devices? There's one of them which so the Topjoy Falcon I use as a really small video editor. So when we go places, I take an Osmo Action because it's very small and discreet, and we film stuff. And then in the evenings, wherever we're staying, you know, friends or family or whatever, not like this happens a lot these days, that's good enough to like edit the video off the camera. So that's like my little, in a really small bag I can get, you know, an action camera and all of its gubbins, you know, memory cards, chargers, and a PC that has got a card reader in it and can edit video. So that's what one of them I use for. The gaming ones, again, we use as portable handheld gaming machines, and in fact something that I've been meaning to do is to set them up as Steam clients, what they used to be called, the little receiver things, the wireless receiver things. But you know, we use those for gaming devices, mostly for emulation, and the others I just break out when I need like an actual physical machine to test something on quickly. I use them as test machines. Steam Link, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, Big Pod. Yeah, so I'd like to get the gaming ones to do Steam Link, because with the Steam Deck coming as well, I think there's some interesting crossovers with that stuff. So I will log in. I'm logging in now. And now I'm logged in, I will go to the overhead view and we'll touch the screen. Ah, it's correct. That is correctly calibrated. There we go. We're in business. Okay, so that's all the major stuff actually now. So I should be able to open that. There we go. So I touch the icon at the top, and if I do this, I can drag that window around. So there we go. The touch screen is now correctly orientated with the screen. So we're cooking on gas here actually. Let's go back here then. Let's get that change in this, because this will be wrong otherwise, because we changed that to an asterisk on the installs. There we go. So actually that is looking really good. So if we just bring this back up, we've got further along here than I anticipated this evening. This is actually going quite well. What are we in? We're an hour and 50 minutes in. Okay, so I think we're definitely in territory of making what is a pretty complete image at this point. We don't need the desktop scaler because I stopped enabling that. We've got the grub stuff. We don't need a custom EDID. We don't need custom Wi-Fi firmware. In fact, off screen I'm just going to connect to a wireless network and make sure that that works. So we'll just disconnect the Ethernet. There we go, Ethernet is out. So let's connect to Wi-Fi. Yeah, I know I'm offline. I unplugged you. Stop telling me I'm offline. Go away, go away. 5 gigahertz network. Let's just put that in. Okay. Okay, it has connected to Wi-Fi, so Wi-Fi works. So I can go back to the capture view, and what we'll also do is just do a quick as we've got a browser here, we'll just see that that the thing is performing appropriately, and that it's not like the Wi-Fi being connected is one thing, but is it actually shoving bits down the wire as best as it can? So fast.com should give us a decent indication of is it performing decently, and I am quite a long way from the access point in the house up here for Wi-Fi, so 160 megabits is decent, and the upstream should be between 35 and 50 megabits, and so I would say the Wi-Fi is also performing as expected too, so that's good. So I don't think there's going to be anything there that needs any attention. And let's see if we can see my neighbour's televisions. I don't know why it is that their TVs are so visible, but usually when I do this, oh, it's on the, I click the search button, there we go. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's seen a bunch of stuff. Some of those are mine. That's my Lemetric, which is behind me. That's the Nvidia Shield downstairs. That is a charging dock for a tablet. That's the phone in the kitchen. And that's a camera. So all of those are mine. No neighbour's TV, but the fact that we can see those is good. Is there any of those? Oh, any of those I would expect to be able to connect to. Inspire 2, that's not one of ours. No, I don't think I can connect to any of those, but I think that's a good enough quick pass to say Bluetooth is probably going to be working fine. So let's try this pen. I suppose that's what we've got left, right? I will switch here. I don't know if I have to turn this on in any way, or if it is just going to know that it's proximity to the screen. So Oh, right, okay. That works. It's a bit off. The position of the pen, I mean, it's working, but it's not right. You won't be able to see, maybe you can very slightly, but you can see where the nib of the pen is, and the cursor is where my finger is. So I think that's, in air quotes, working because there's enough support to make it do what it's doing, but I think it needs a driver, and I think I will look into getting the pen working properly at a future date, because what I'm going to do now is build an image that should be 9/10 of the way there in terms of what we need. So we will come back here and build an image. I haven't missed anything, have I? We've done the track point, done the UDEV rules. Yeah, we're looking good. Okay. So we will run the script like this. So it's respin, and this is going to be a GPD Pocket 3. And yes, we will respin the 2110 ISO. So this is going to unpack the ISO, inject the configuration, update hashes, repack the ISO. Is what is about to happen. It's the wrong password. So let's try that. There we go. That's fine. That's just an rsync thing to do with copying permissions. So you can see some of the output here. So if I scroll up, because it's rebuilding the Squash FS. So from this point here, it's now, you can see here, we added it. This is where it added those additional kernel parameters to rotate the frame buffer, and that's all fine. And then you can see here in the actual live media, it injects those same kernel parameters into the live media. So when you boot this ISO, it is rotated on the live media as well. And what else have we got here? The same for the loopback. Okay, that's also the live media. And this is it, building the Squash FS. And once the Squash FS has been built, it then will go off, and any second now. There we go. So now it's building the ISO with that new Squash FS file system, and there it's done. That it doesn't take long to actually, well, it doesn't take long on this machine to rebuild that whole image. But if we now have a look in here, this was the image that we started with, and we've now got one here that has the GPD Pocket 3 suffix, and that is the one with those customizations that we've just been working on here. See you, McPhail. Thanks for stopping by. So we'll give this a try. So where did I put my USB drive? Here it is. We'll write that custom image out, and then we'll do another install, because that won't take very long. And that should be quite a good ways along of sorting that out. So let's think about this. We're in the right screen here, so let's go to development and UMPC and make sure we've got the right image. So there it is. Write that with the image writer and stick it on the GTX. Start restoring, restore, password in. So that will then put that image on the drive. So yes, so JS Gigax asks, is that due to the overlapping screens? Yeah, I just haven't been fussy about the HDMI out display. They do overlap. hopefully I'll get it right. When we do the reinstall, I'll align them nicely. Right then, there we go. So that's done. That is our rebuilt image. So let's power you off. Unplug you. So plug this in and then we'll boot off it. Ah, I haven't got the ALSA fixes in this image. Oh well. Oh well. Okay, so I need to add ALSA fixes, but I don't have that just now. We made them here, but I'll incorporate those in just a moment. In fact, while the install's running, we'll add that to the script. So let's just. Well, we don't need to be clever about it. Let's just restart. And Function F7 to get into the bootloader. There we go. So there is the prompt and it says, do you want to boot off the USB stick? And I can say yes. That's not rotated, so that needs some work. This I think on half the devices Grub isn't rotated on the live media, but I have got an idea about how to fix this. So we've got a couple of things we need to fix and look at, because I want to look at the modular card. So tomorrow night I'll do another stream. We'll look at the pen, we'll look at the modules, we'll look at the KVM feature, and we'll see if we can fix this as well. So I'm just going to say Ubuntu MATE. I'm going to press return, and I think from this point now, I don't know if you saw very quickly, but there was some debug output, and that was orientated correctly. I wonder if actually we do the capture output. Here we go. So what I'm looking at here now is we've got the capture output. This is the HDMI out we're looking at, and the everything's, here we go. This is orientated the right way. So if you saw where we started from at the very beginning when we installed the vanilla image, it was all rotated wrong. It's now the correct way. But if we go to the capture view, also the correct orientation. So let's do an install, because what we want to see here is that when we do an install, all of these modifications are preserved. Oh, I didn't want to do that. It's not a UK keyboard at all. That was a lie. It's definitely not Esperanto. Right then, let's try that again. Let's move forwards. Load that. And I'm not going to do... No, don't connect to the network. Just don't do that right now, thank you. Right then. So, this is good. The orientation's right. So whilst I'll just wait for get to the screens where it can do it all itself. Here we go. So let's do a don't download, normal installation. Did that skip by a screen? It did, didn't it? No. Okay. I'm getting confused. Right. We'll completely get rid of the existing disk layout, and whilst it's doing the install, this is the first device I've worked on that's required a custom, well, as it happens, it's a kernel module configuration, but it's for the audio. So we will add to the little build script to pull in those changes that we made to ALSA in order for the audio device to be brought up correctly. So once this is whirring, oh goodness, so I forget when I have to think about it. So this is Pocket 3. My password is still test. and go. Right, so now that's running. We'll move back over here and we'll add a new file to the configuration. And that's going to be the what's the correct description? Let's just look at my notes here. So we're going to drop mod probe. Mod probe conf, and that's going to be let's think about this. Xorg path, yeah, so it's going to be squash out and it's going to be Ulsa. Actually, we want to call it something like Ulsa UMPC, like so. The actual thing. I think that will be about right. So if we just take a little look in etc mod probe D. Oh, that's missing. Let's move that out of the way so I can type more comfortably. Modprobe.d. So etc modprobe.d, alsa, and then the name of the device that we're building for. I think that will do it. We only want this in the squash file system. We don't need to modify. Yeah, that's it. We only want that in the squash file system. So now what we'll do is we'll code ulsa dash GPD Pocket3.com. I'm not sure if we're going to get away with this, but I'm not sure, but let's try that. Hello, I didn't copy. Ah, I'm in the wrong display. There we go. Right, so there's our configuration to bring up the audio device. So I will need to test that tomorrow to make sure that that works. But that's just the config piece. So then we're going to need to do and inject one of these here. So we'll do that, and this was mod probe conf. So that will now inject that bit of data into the squashfs file system, which means that that will get installed and be a part of the live image. Okay, that's good. Mod probe conf. Okay. Let's see how the install's going. Nearly done. So what else have I... Just make sure I haven't overlooked anything here. What part is baffling me, says Big Pod. Am I looking confused, Big Pod? I'm doing this a little bit, you know, making that change a little bit blind. We know it works because we tested it, and I'm just. There's when you unpack the ISO, there's the ISO image that you first of all you loop back mount. So that's like one image, and then there's a squashfs file system inside that, and it's a little bit like peeling the onion. And I'm just like trying to keep track of, am I putting the file in the right, you know, right thing that I'm unpacking. During the installer part, you were. Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, okay. Yes, I don't know. It was just for whatever reason this evening I was just confused by what I was looking at. There we go. So that's the install is done. So what we'll do is we'll restart this, and it should be working with the exception of audio. That's interesting that the HDMI out screen is rotated that way because the actual screen is rotated correctly. So we'll bring this up, and is the overhead view, it's coming up, and the capture view we should see an HDMI capture device appear. There it is, and that's correctly rotated. So let's log in. So first of all, we can see that the screens are in fact the correct orientation, so that's good. And we saw that Plymouth was correctly rotated, which means the frame buffer stuff has worked. So one of the reasons why I've been unconnected and also not wanting to be connected during the install is what we're going to test now is doing an upgrade, which will upgrade our kernel. And what we want to make sure is that after the kernel
Thank you
upgrade...
for the follow, mail 929.
Thanks very much for the follow. I don't know... Oh, there's two of you
Thank you
following
for the
at the
follow,
same time.
3D Beef.
Thank you very much for the follow, everyone. I appreciate that. So thanks 3D Beef and Mail. Thanks and welcome to the stream. So I've plugged the Ethernet in, and the reason for that is that we're going to do an upgrade which will bring in a new kernel. And I want to make sure that all of those config changes that we've made persist over a kernel upgrade, because they should force... it should trigger a rebuild of the initial RAM disk, and those tweaks and configurations should persist across that. So that's what we'll do now, because if that doesn't work, then that's rubbish and we'll need to go and fiddle around, but I think it should be good. So there's nothing clever about this. It's an apt update and an apt upgrade, and we'll just let that run. And whilst the upgrade's running, I'll just go back to the script that builds these images and just give that a double check and make sure I've got everything in there that I need. So let's do an upgrade. Wow, it's quite a lot of stuff, isn't it? Okay, so whilst that's running, in fact, whilst that's running, we'll do something else. We'll look at these displays. Now they're... So this is why, I think, who was it mentioned? GS Gigax. This is why it looks weird, is because these two displays are overlapping one another in my display configuration. That was the reason that was so weird. So if we apply that now what we have is, that's much better. Keep this configuration and close that. So now if I go back to the if I minimize this, you'll see that it's just that one screen. It's not got the, you know, crooked overlay. And if I bring up the overhead shot, you can see that the other screen just has one thing on it. So there we go, we've tidied up our display orientations as well. So we'll send the telemetry whilst we're here. We really do want to get this as a... I can't see my mouse pointer. Where's my mouse pointer gone? Is it over here on the capture screen? Yeah, it is. There we go. Right. Send telemetry. Continue. Okay, so that's that good. Job done. Close that. So whilst we're here, whilst this upgrade's running, I'm going to put the kernel module change in again, but with the revised file name that I want to use, because I want to make sure that that file name is going to work correctly as well. So let's just open up another tab. We'll do this. So we'll nano that, and we want to call this ULSA GPD Pocket 3. I think that's what I suggested it was going to be called. Let me just double check. Was it that way? But oh, good lord! Look what I did. Oopsie. Let's unscramble that. It's one of the problems of having these multiple arrangements. You do type in the wrong place sometimes. So ULSA-GPD Pocket 3 is what I'm going for. So let's, yeah, ULSA-GPD-Pocket 3. Cool. Okay, and we're going to do options. Where's my... Hello. That's interesting. There we go. Is it hyphened? Yeah. So we're just making this change by hand, DSP CFG, and it is DSP underscore driver equals 1. Okay, so we'll make that change, and because I just want to make sure that the name isn't tied to the kernel module that it's manipulating. So that's completed. So let's do a reboot, which I'll initiate from here. Switch off, restart. So we'll go to the overhead view so we can see what this is doing, and then we'll flip back to the capture view as it, oh, focus is breathing. Awesome. You can't see squat like that, but I can. So, that is orientated correctly here and there, and oh, and the sound came up as well. So I heard the sound. So that file name does work. That's awesome. Okay, that's great. Wonderful. Make that go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Hang on. Oh, the touch stuff isn't working properly though. Oh, the touch stuff is off. Just like it was with them. Oh, I wonder if that's what the extra offset I calculated was. Okay, the touch is correctly orientated, but it's slightly offsetting correctly, and I think that was from the other calculation. So I'm going to make that change now as well and restart. So if we bring up a terminal, we'll bring that on the right screen. Let's try that again. Let's do this. So we'll do this and /etc udev. So it is rotated correctly, but it's slightly off. And there's our rules. So let's run that. And when I did my reading earlier, I had in here an additional 001, like so. So let's just unceremoniously reboot. Oh, I don't need the USB drive in anymore either. Let's unplug that. So go to the capture view. Good, and login displays here. We're logging in there. And now, oh, that's going to need some work. So the touch is orientated correctly, but it's adrift. So I will need to do some maths and figure that out. But that's a minor thing. We'll get that right. So and we know that audio thing works. So I think I might just quickly rebuild the image again, run it through again, and see that audio works in the live image. I don't even need to install it. So let's plug you in here. So we're going to rebuild the image and just boot the live image and see that the sound works in the live image, because we've now got that. Hello, hello Esme. How you doing? Is it Sunday? Yeah. Well, it's Sunday here now, I suppose. What time is it where you are? So let's just go and. Yes, so Big Pod said, have I done the Ulcer stuff? Yeah, I have now added it, and that's what we're just going to go and test. So we've got modprobe conf, which corresponds to... Setting it on fire. So squash out, that path is looking okay. Etsy modprobe ulcer-umpc. So that looks right. So we'll save that. We'll rebuild the image. Like so. And then this time we'll boot that image. We won't actually install it, but from the live session we'll go into the sound properties. We should see that that device is available, and we should be able to play the test sounds, and then we'll know that that's working. I wonder what this transformation matrix issue is. That's most peculiar. I wonder if it's because I'll have to test. I'll have to look into that. I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'm sure I've been here before actually with one of the others, so I'll have a little poke around. So what else is left? Oh, I suppose whilst the image is building, we could test suspend and hibernate. So let's go in here. Let's go to the power settings and bring those over to the capture screen. I saw a little bit of tearing there, so maybe I need to add those driver tweaks. So actions, put the computer to sleep when inactive, never. When the laptop lid is closed, suspend. Okay, good. Let's do that then. Let's do that, and I'm just going to unplug the Ethernet because that its purpose is test. I'm going to reconnect off screen to my Wi-Fi, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to close the lid, the thing will suspend, and then we'll wake it up again, and hopefully it will reconnect to Wi-Fi. If any of these things are a bit finicky, it's sometimes the wireless chips. So we're connected to Wi-Fi now. I'll prove that by coming over here. IP ADDR. So you can see there's my IP address for the wireless device here. So we will just close the lid. Let's do this way. So we'll shut the lid. Now I've got earbuds in, so I don't know if this is making much fan noise at all or anything, but I can't feel the fan exhausting air out the back or pulling against my hand there. There's still a light on here. I'm going to unplug the power there now. Right. So now the power light is breathing, which is indicative of it's asleep. So I think that's suspended. I can't feel anything to suggest otherwise. So we'll open it up and see if it wakes up. And if it doesn't, then that'll be an area of... looks like we might have some work to do. So this has gone full, but... So the screen hasn't woken up. So there we go. We've found something else we need to work on. Okay. Fine. Okay. Well, I'll add that to my list of things. That'll be another thing to work on in the next stream. So tomorrow night I'll be doing another stream where I continue this effort, and so hopefully by tomorrow evening we get to a place where it's in pretty decent shape and there should be an image that people can download and use. Oh, let me just... I'm on the wrong screen here. Big Pod says... I think I never saw tearing on any Linux device, or I might just not know how it looks. I think you'd know it if you see it. I think you'd know it if you see it. It looks like shearing across the image as you move an image across the screen. Often that will trigger it. It wasn't bad, so I can't tell if it's because I'm doing it through HDMI capture, but it's one of the things I'll test. Like I'm going out most of the day tomorrow, so I probably won't test much tomorrow, but I will test and see if it is tearing. I'll play some video on it and stuff like that. Right, so that was a fail, the suspend, so we definitely need to fix that, because that won't do, especially on a device like this. So I think we'll hold down this for a few seconds so that the thing goes off. There we go. So that's fully powered off now. So it was awake, but it didn't bring the display back. The display was like maximum dimness or something. So I think it wasn't waking up the display device properly. So we'll have to have a little think about that. And it isn't fully charged yet, so I'm going to plug it back into the charger again. Okay, so we were building a new image, I believe, over here, which is done. So we will stick that on the USB and give the audio a test on the live session. That's the new one. Disk image. Oh, I'm doing this off screen. Sorry, I do apologize. Right then, there we go. Right click that and stick that out on the image writer to the GTX. There it is. Start restoring. Restore. Go. So, okay. So, GS Gigax says that they have this. I take it you're referring to the suspend and resume issue that I've just bumped into. So you have that on a Toughbook. Is that a Panasonic Toughbook you're referring to? I love those. I haven't had one in ages, but I absolutely love the Panasonic Toughbooks. Man, I might have to get one of those again. Yeah, they are fab. Lucky you. I love those things. Nice. Nice. I used to work in the aviation industry, and we used to get those. And when there was, I forget the name of the company, but there was a company where you could buy them, and they did all the work to do all of the Linux enablement, and you could buy them pre-installed with insert name of favorite Linux distribution on them, and they would guarantee everything worked, and they would do hardware support. It was brilliant. Right, okay, this is done. So let's turn you off, unplug you, go to the overhead view. Right, so plug this back in again. We're not going to do an install this time. Just going to run off the live media. So power you up. And that did I'm an idiot. It always helps if you actually like push the magic button that allows you to boot off your USB drive. So it's function F7, which annoyingly the F7 key is on numeric 6, which is a bit weird. That I haven't seen that on these devices. Right, we'll boot off the USB. There we go. And what does that say? Oh, OEM. No, let's just do that. Okay, so I'm going to try and fix that grub thing as well. So I'll make a little list of like things to fix. Right, let's go to the capture screen. That should have the options to do install and what have you. There we go. So we're just going to do try this time. Also, that suspend test we did after we'd done all of the updates as well, so we know it was the current kernel too. So if we bring up the sound stuff and drag that over to the capture screen, we should see, oh, well, that's mega annoying. Oh, that's even more annoying. Oh goodness, everything's happening all at once. Bring you over here. Why did that not bring up the audio? I saw some more tearing then, so I think we'll put those other Intel driver changes in. The file is not there. Okay, so I've clearly clearly not got something right in the script there, because it hasn't actually copied the configuration in at all. I will make a note of everything that needs fixing now. So let's go back here. The stuff that I need to work on is going to be well, first of all, we don't need you, and we don't need you. So I think we'll just make a quick to do here. So let's just move that out of the way of that. Right, so let's see, we want to suspend, resume on Pocket 3, screen tearing on Pocket 3, question mark, and also inject module config, because we've created the module configuration, it's just not copying it in. And we want to do touch screen offset calibration. I think that will be all of it. I think. F key fun indeed. Wow, so Gigax, you've got 2 tough books. Wonderful. Yeah, very nice. Why endless out of interest? Just because it's an educational thing? Is that why you've got it on there for the kids? Right. Oh, and the grub scream. Nice one, Esme. Thank you, Esme. Grub. Pocket 3 and others, because I think if I can fix this on the Pocket 3, I can fix it on all of the others that have that issue. So if we look at the README here, so oh, I see. So Gigax, you're using Endless because it doesn't require an internet connection. Nice, that's cool. I haven't looked at Endless in ages. So this is the README for the entire project. And I tell you what we could do for fun. We could see if it works on 2004. Let's see if we can just quickly identify the root cause of this audio issue, because that shouldn't be too hard. So down here we have a thing called mod probe comp. Wash out. Inject. And data. Oh. I've saved this file in the wrong place. That's what's wrong with this. There we go. That was an easy fix. MV ulcer to data. There we go. That is the ulcer thing fixed. So I'm going to, because for science, I think that should be fixed, but we'll tick that off once we've done it. I'm going to rebuild the image against 2004 and see if there's enough support in 2004 for this to go. So let's give that a go. So instead of 21, so let's do that. Because currently the other GPD devices all have images published for 2004. And I do need to update them because there's a point release come out recently, so I need to update them for that point release. And if this works on 2004, that would be quite nice too. So yeah, for consistency's sake, and also it'd just be interesting to see if it works or not. So we'll give that a go. So Gigax says it's not that they don't have internet, but figured a tough book would be a good place to have something like that on it. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I mean, I love the tough books. I love utilitarian things. I think that's one of the reasons why I've liked the micro PC from GPD and this one. It's definitely a utilitarian device. This isn't rugged like the Panasonics, but you know, having serial ports, and on this one as well, the KVM. Haven't tested that. That will be something we do in another live stream. I'm gonna, you know, unplug these pluggable modules and try them all out. But yeah, I really like the utilitarian nature of these things, and also the fact they're so tiny. They're great. Right, okay, we've built our image, so let's just turn you off. Shut down. Oh, what have I done there, I wonder? Just turning the thing off unceremoniously, and then we'll put the 2004 image on the stick and try and install it and see what happens. I always get a bit of a shock when I go back to Ubuntu MATE 2004 because it hasn't got the new theme in it, and it takes me by surprise every time. So yeah, we'll just bring this up, bring you down here. Development. And here we go. Let's pick up the right one. 2004. There we go. Write you out. Image writer. Onto the GTX. And go. Whoa, what happened there? That was interesting. Image writer. GTX. Okay. So that suspend issue, that could be one of those things where I have to work around it, because that could be something that requires kernel modifications to add some sort of quirks. So that'll be an interesting one. The password is test, by the way. Thanks Esme. There's a channel point redemption for the password thing. Right, let's power you down and get rid of you, get rid of you. Right, here we go then. So we're doing it again. We'll see if this thing boots with a 2004 image. What do we reckon? Place your bets in chat. But type work or fail. Let's see what the confidence levels look like. So I need to invoke the bootloader. Oh, crikey, Gigax, you're optimistic. So I'm booting off the USB. Big pod, I didn't expect anything else than that from you. Oh, Esme, you're too kind. Right, okay. The screen orientation works almost. Can you see that though? Look, the check-in there didn't, and then so the frame buffer rotation stuff has worked. But so the screen is working. The device has come up. And if I go to the capture screen, we do have an output. So, okay. So, what can we learn from this? Wi-Fi doesn't work. So, it can't see any wireless networks. So, consequently, this wireless device isn't supported in this kernel. So that tells me straight away we can't be using this device with 2004. Let's have a look at the sound stuff. And it has got built-in sound apparently. So let's just go here so you can see a bit more clearly. So let's bring this over. So test the speakers. It's quiet, but if I turn it up a little bit. Oh, that's the wrong button. There we go.
Front, left,
So
front,
the audio
right.
works. So I wonder if it's just this, it doesn't have the right firmware for the Wi-Fi on this kernel release. It's possible. What about Bluetooth? Devices. That's asked me to turn Bluetooth on, which I will do now. And then we'll drag this over here and hit search. So Bluetooth may work because it can find things. And the sound works. So that sound fix will work in the other image as well. So that's good. And all the rotation stuff is working. And what about the touch stuff? It's orientated correctly, but it's offset. It's like it's almost like it's got a coarse scale offset. It's like got a linear drift. no, exponential drift in the, is it only in the Y coordinate? How odd. Okay, well that we'll have to fix. Sorry, no one could see what I was doing there. If I go to the overhead view, I don't know if you can make this out because in fact I tell you what we could do. We could do this. Let's go to appearance. What have I done here then? Oh! Why doesn't the keyboard respond? That's weird. It is responding. Okay. Let's bring that up, the appearance properties, and move over here. So what I'm doing is, I just thought if I make the cursor, mouse cursor really big. Oh, something's not right here because I can't actually grab these windows either. Okay. Clearly this version isn't going to work very well. So let's do customize pointer and make it massive. There we go. And if we come back here and then go to the overhead view, I can now demonstrate the problem. So hopefully, let's raise you up a little bit. So, oh gosh, there we go. Right, so I am going to put my finger on the mouse, and can you see the mouse pointer has moved, and can you see how the mouse pointer is drifting exponentially, well, closer as I go this way and more out of step as I go this way. And this is why I thought it was working when I first tested it, because the thing that I tested it with was an icon in the top of the screen, which obviously aligns correctly, but if I'd have tried to, you know, do this, it wouldn't have worked. And that, but you know, this can work, you know, by chance, but you can see, you know, as we move, the thing drifts out. So I need to calibrate for that somehow. I will figure it out. Yeah, it could well be. And the other thing I need to check is it anything to do with having the HDMI capture plugged in? Because sometimes that can throw things out as well. So I will test that and figure out what the root cause is. But that also tells me 2004's a non-starter for this because of the Wi-Fi. Is it only the Wi-Fi though? Because if it's only the Wi-Fi, if I can figure out what the firmware is, if it's just a firmware issue, maybe we could make it go. Anyway, but we know the audio fix is correct, so we will come back here. We know that that's right, and we'll have that. So this is the calibration offset, screen tearing we need to investigate, suspend regime. Well, whilst we're here, let's test that with this one. So I'm going to unplug the power. I'm not actually sure this is delivering enough juice to power the laptop. I think it's been depleting battery the whole time we've been on stream. In fact, yes, there are 3 hours 32 minutes remaining. So we'll shut that down. Maybe I'll unplug the capture card and the USB. We'll just have the device. So we'll even reboot it with the all of the bits disconnected, and we'll use this as our test to see if it works. I don't expect it will. Oh, I'm an idiot. We were running off the live CD. Okay. Well, I'm not doing that test now. Never mind. That's fine. So, we'll turn you off. Let's just see if that light goes out. It does go out. So that, I don't think that shut down cleanly, did it? No, it wouldn't have done. So, okay. I think we've got enough there. So maybe I'll get some of this committed up actually, because I made some changes in the way the images were built as well. So let's just bring up the code editor. We'll leave that to do in there because that's a little reminder for me. But the other stuff we've done is good. So let's go into Git Kraken and actually push up everything that I did, because one of the other things is that from Ubuntu 2010 onwards, the way that ISO images are actually generated changed. So one of the things I did, what day is it today? It's Saturday. I did it this morning. Saturday morning, is to add a new build mechanism for the ISO image. So I haven't committed any of that, so we'll go through all of this. So we'll start by first of all going to the script itself. It's the respin script, and we will do the cherry pick style like so. We'll come back to all of that stuff. We'll come back to that. That is fine. So we will just say use apt-get. I've started moving all scripts that I have over to apt-get rather than apt, because I've noticed there is some sometimes peculiar behavior using apt in scripts. Right, so we will add everything to do with the Pocket 3, so we'll not do that yet. So this is shell check, make shell check happy, that was. And don't think there was any other shell check improvements. I think that was the only one. So whoops. So let's get that in, and then I'll just go over here. We will remove some commented out bits that we're really going to throw away, so we're not going to use those mechanisms anymore or any of that. So save that, and now come back here. So we will add the new build mechanism. So that whole hunk can go in together. And that, and all of that. Yes. So this is the new build process. In fact, it retains the old process and adds a new one. So that should be so we'll add the new ISO build. And now we'll do everything to do with adding the Pocket 3, I think. I think that's the only stuff that is outstanding. Oh, we needed that as well. Oh no, that was part of the old. Remove the old. Yep. ISO Linux check. So I think everything that's left is to do with adding support for the GPD Pocket 3. We need to do the same things in this script too. So maybe we'll just go and do that very quickly, because we've only got one change, which is this one. So I've got a script here that actually regenerates the image itself. But also this script that sits alongside it, you can run on an installed Ubuntu system on one of these GPDs, and it will inject this configuration live into the system. So you don't have to download the image, a customized image. You can run the script on the image. So let's go and grab this. This is going to simply be Etsy, like so. And somewhere here there'll be a whole bunch of inject stuff. There it is. And we'll take the same there on that. Kernel modules after the touch rules. There we go, and we actually re-trigger the udev rules when we're running live. Good. Okay. Oh, that's set. If you like that. And this should have a whole bunch of support for... It should have detection for the Pocket. Oh, I see. So that is set it to the appropriate device. We'll leave that like so. That's fine. Mod probe conf. Oh, what have I done wrong there then? Oh, saved it. That's all that's missing. There we go. Good. Okay. That was the only thing that we added. So that's good. And... that does the right thing. Good. So let's just now go and commit all of that in, because there's 2 files there. We'll include that in the... Yep, that's fine. And all of this, we'll take all of this from here, because those comments I'm not going to commit. I'm just going to leave those sitting around. There it is. And we need to add that and that and all of these configuration files. So that is add support for the GPD Pocket 3. All in one chunk. And then I did go through and update this to reference the GPD Pocket 3, and I updated these. So the one thing we need to change in the README, so as not to mislead people, is that we now know the Pocket 3 does not work on 2004, so we'll change that accordingly. And the other thing that I've got in the README here is some details on each of the devices. So the GPD Pocket 3 is like that. And it was once that keyboard and mouse. We think the Ubuntu version is definitely going to be 2110. It's known as the GPD Pocket 3. We can only guess at the kernel being, let's just come down here. Let's see what we're running. .513, but it's probably earlier than that. But we'll put 513 as our best estimate in at the moment. And the code data we want the track point stuff, don't we? That was 99 something, wasn't it? GPD Pocket 3. We'll copy that string out of there. Drop that into the README here, because it's something like that. There we go. So that README is somewhat accurate now. So Esme says, interesting, typing GPD Ubuntu auto completes with screen delay tearing in various Asian languages. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I think I know the fix for that, Esme, because it was one of the things I've included in all of the other builds. In the data directory here, we have these Intel configurations, and they're all identical. And in fact, let's just edit them. Data. And I suspect this is going to need it too. And it's these lines here really are the two that make the difference, and that's just to compensate for the tearing. Right then, so we've got that in. The README's looking good. So let's go back to Git Kraken, and what have we got left? My notes, and we'll just say here stage file update. The README includes great information. Commit that. We'll just do a quick pull, make sure there's nothing upstream that I've not pulled in. Ah, God. Oh, dear me. That doesn't look good, does it? Could I push? Yes, okay, goodness. Okay, so I've got a WinMax branch which is now done. So that was the last one. So that was a year ago, the last time I was working on one of these. Remove the grub. Okay, right, so that project is over here. So for those of you that are interested in taking a closer look at the code, say it's over here, it's there. So in my GitHub repo, Wimpy's World, it should be at the top once we reload this. There it is, UMPC Ubuntu. So we'll edit that, I suppose, and add Pocket 3. There we go. WinMax, and what is it? The P2 Max. The WinMax. Oh, okay. Let's do that differently. WinMax and P2 Max. There are other devices that are supported by this thing. So we'll save those changes. So that's got all the latest changes in it, all the info. There's a couple of the older devices. So when this is all complete, on the Ubuntu MATE download page, each of the supported GPDs is listed. So you can see some of them are basically the same thing. So the Pocket 2 and the GPD Win 2. This is also the same, essentially the same hardware as also the OneMix Yoga 1S and the OneMix Yoga 2. So, you know, that covers a bunch of devices. But there's the Pocket, the Micro, and we'll have to add one in here for the Pocket 3 because it is distinctive from the others. So we'll add it. We'll have a new section will appear here with the downloads. So at the moment, if you look in these, it will give you an option to, you know, download the appropriate image. And the Raspberry Pi images are here as well. So that's where things will appear once it's actually all working and I'm satisfied things are stable. Right then, I am pretty happy with how that turned out. That's I would say 8/10 of the way there. All the important stuff, at least at the moment. The suspend is a bit of a fly in the ointment, but we'll get that fixed. So happy with that. I'll be back again tomorrow for sure. I'm going to do another live stream with this device tomorrow. Try and fix some of those bugs that we've run into, some of those final issues, and then we will oh, nice one, Big Pod. Good timing, I think. The Chelsea Cucumber, Team Chelsea Cucumber for the win there. We're very close, but what we'll be doing tomorrow is taking a look at this, taking this out. This is the module bay for the USB 3, which is installed by default, and I think I'm not going to bother looking at the serial device at the moment, because by far and away the more interesting option is the KVM. So we'll yank this one out, put the KVM in, and I don't know, maybe connect a Raspberry Pi to it and use it as the means to control a Raspberry Pi. I think that would be appropriate, considering some of the other stuff I do here. So yeah, we'll take a look at that. So we'll try and get it more complete, more polished and finished. And I think maybe the streams that I do next week, so I'm going to be streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning UK time, and I'll probably do a couple of evening streams some point next week as well. But I'm going to refresh the images for all of these other GPD devices, so I'll do a stream with each of them. Wondered what that noise was there over there. I'll do a stream with each of them, refresh the images, go through like the testing, make sure it's all working, and hopefully by this time next week we'll have a fresh set of images for the entire GPD range for Ubuntu MATE, which will be pretty nice. If there's anyone here who's following along that hasn't followed here and is interested in seeing more of this stuff, please do give us a follow. I'd love to see you come back again, and also when I get it wrong, help me out and help me fix things, as I forget who it was, but somebody spotted my mistake earlier and helped save me a bunch of time diving down the wrong rabbit hole. So you know, it's like pair programming via the internet. It's extremely useful. Right then, so I think we'll go and see who's doing stuff today. Ah, awesome! Here we go. I know exactly where we're going. We're going to go and see some friends of mine. So we will open that in a new tab. Turn that off. Do this. Copy this. They may not even know that we're coming. So let's do this. We are going to go and raid the Linux Gamecast. Now, this may not be safe for work. Hopefully none of you are at work, but if you're got young children nearby, you might want to mute stuff because sometimes they're a bit sweary. Anyway, thank you all for coming. We're going to go over and see Linux Gamecast on their live show that they're doing at the moment. In fact, they're doing the pre-show for their video cast. Yeah, okay. So thank you all for coming. I hope I'll see you tomorrow night. If not, maybe one of the streams soon. Bye for now.